Hi, this is Mr. Capper. In this video, I'm going to create a generic counterweight for the Catapult. Make sure you're in your Catapult project folder before hitting the big blue plus symbol in the lower right to create a new file. Make sure you're naming all these parts appropriately. Make sure you're organized here. So counterweight. Okay. So now I'm going to sketch the very bottom of it. So I'm going to click on the top plane. I'm going to hit the pencil tool. And then mine's rectangular, so I'm going to use the corner rectangle symbol. If you want to make yours round, you could use the center point circle and do that instead. So corner rectangle, 2-finger click at the same time on this plane, and then view normal to. I'm going to lock my view by hitting the lock in the upper right. See how that just turned a yellowish orange? I'm then going to click and hold, touch the origin, click and hold again in the distance, and pull it out. Now you're going to want to use your dimensions. The dimensions that I used for the bottom of it is 2 inch by 2 inch. So hit the dimension tool, click your left line, and it got deselected. Sometimes that happens. So make sure it's highlighted up in the top right there, or top left. So like I said, mine's 2 inches. Click on the bottom. That's 2 inches, check mark. And then now what you want to do is hit the check mark to finish sketch 1. So make sure you're using your dimensions. And then I extruded mine by 2 inches in depth. So I'm going to hit the sphere symbol in the upper right. I'll hit extrude, which is this button in the upper left there now. Click on the profile that you want to extrude. And I want to extrude this by 2 inches. So whatever your depth is, use that number instead. Check mark that I'm good with extrusion 1. Now I want to cut out the cavity that I'm going to put my pennies into the way down the counterweight. So I'll hit the pencil tool again. I'll select the top of what I just made. I'll use the corner rectangle again. 2-finger click anywhere within this workspace to do view normal to sketch plane. I'm going to lock my view once again, and I'm going to click and hold and make a rectangle. Next, I'm going to dimension this by hitting the pencil symbol and then the dimension tool. I'll dimension between these left 2 lines by clicking on them both. And then make these walls thin. 0.0625 is a 1/16 of an inch. If we make these thin, we'll be able to print everybody's. If you make it thick, we won't be able to print these. Take too long. I hit the top 2 lines, dimension between them. Same thing, 1/16 of an inch. The 2 rightmost lines, and sometimes it got deselected again, my dimension tool. 0.0625, green check mark. Now we're going to do the bottommost ones and dimension again a 1/16. Okay, this looks awesome. So check mark in the lower right to finish the sketch. And then now I'm going to want to extrude this, so I'll hit the sphere tool in the upper left, click on extrude in the upper left, select that inner profile that I want to cut into there, and instead of add, we haven't done this before, use remove. I want to leave a 1/16 of an inch at the bottom. So whatever the depth of your counterweight is, take that number minus 0.0625. So mine is 2 inches in depth, so I'm going to take 2 minus 0.0625 in a calculator, and I get a distance of 1.9375. So put that into your calculator. If you cut down that depth, now you've got a thin bottom. Hit the check mark. All right, next I want to put a hole through here. So I'm going to hit the pencil symbol again. I'm going to select one of the sides. Mine is a cube, so it doesn't matter, but for you, make sure if it's not a cube, select the right side to put the hole through. I'll use center point circle. I'll put it approximately in the right place and the right size. I'll then use the dimension tool to touch the perimeter and dimension that as 1/4 inch, check mark. And then I want to center it on there. So I'm going to click the left edge, then click the center of the circle, and the middle of mine, if it's 2 inches, the middle of mine is 1 inch. All right. And then I want to make sure I dimension it from the top down. So I'll click on this topmost line, the center of the circle, and then I think I made this 1/4 inch. Let's see what that looks like. You want to leave some material at the top of this. So 1/4 inch might be a little too little. Let me look what I did. Oh, I did 1/2 inch. So if you ever want to change something, this is a good lesson, is that you can double click on that dimension and change it. So 1/2 inch is a little bit more reasonable. Gives you more material so it doesn't just rip through. So I'm going to hit the check mark in the lower right that this looks good. I'm going to hit the sphere, extrude. I'm going to select that circle I just made, and I'll do a remove. And then you could put the distance, or you can just grab this arrow, I believe. You can grab the arrow and pull it so it goes all the way through. Or go down here and give it a depth that's greater, or at least equal to the distance of your part here. And then hit the check mark. And then lastly, you really should put your team number on every part so nobody can steal this. So hit the pencil tool, and then I'm going to find the text. So I'm going to put it on the side that doesn't have the hole. And text tool, I don't know if you could see that there. Select that. I'm going to click anywhere on that plane. Ooh, made that kind of big. And then I like the number 4. Use the number that I assigned to your group. And you could change the text and all that, bold it right up here. You may want to center it. You have to deselect though this tool. So double click or hit the text tool up in the bar there. Well, maybe not. Whatever. So you might want to center it as you make it. It's a little bit harder to move afterwards. Really doesn't matter if it's circle or it's centered. It's just aesthetics. And then hit the check mark on the lower right. Hit your pencil tool, and oh, my bad, not pencil. Why do I always do that? Hit the sphere, hit extrude, and then click on your 4, or your number, your team number, I should say. And then probably just a 1/16 is enough. Don't make it a huge amount. Oh yeah, that looks really good. So that is it. So if you wanted that centered, you should have probably just centered it as you were making it when I clicked on there. You can move this, but that's more work. Let me know if you have any questions.